Hi there, welcome back to Creatively Crafted Life. My name is Melanie, and today is the end of January, which is signaling the start of a new year-long series that I'm hoping to complete, and that is where I make a Christmas card, at least one Christmas card, at the end of each month throughout the year. I was inspired by Michele McCants. Be sure to check out her YouTube channel below. She's the one who prompted me with this by saying she was going to make a Christmas card on the 25th of every month. So I am striving to do the same. However, with scheduling YouTube and stuff like that, it doesn't always work out. So I'm just going to say at the end of each month, I will be posting a Christmas card video. This month's video is going to be featuring instructions to complete this specific card. And without further ado, let's get going. Okay, so to start, we're going to take some ribbon. This is some old Stampin' Up! Ribbon I have in my stash, and it is time to use some of it up. Okay, so the first step you're going to need to do is cut a length of ribbon, and this is going to take probably way more ribbon than you think it's going to. I cut a 100-inch piece of ribbon, and I think that should do the trick for what I need it for. This is a 1/4-inch ribbon. The size of the ribbon will alter how much length you're going to need. So the first thing you're going to do to start off is fold this in half and find the center point. So I will let you guys know at the end of this how much I am left with excess, if any. So this is 100 inches. When I did this before, I just guessed, you know, I was experimenting and, you know, as a lead up for this video. And so I didn't actually measure it. So this time I did 100 inches. Okay, now I'm going to show you what to do once you have found the midway point. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is create a loop where it's flat. You're going to take the top piece and that's going to go over to the left, and the back piece is going to go over to the right. And if you're left-handed, you may end up switching this around. I'm not left-handed, so sorry. You're going to then take the left-hand side, and you're going to make another loop. Make sure it's flat, no twists, and we're going to go in through the back side of the first loop we made, right? So just like that. And we want to kind of push this through and connect it down to where the other loop kind of overlaps, if you will. And then we're going to kind of hold this all together, right? So kind of loosely hold it between your fingers, and you're going to take now the one on the right and you're going to lightly pull on that. You may have to adjust, and you're going to keep pulling on it. Sure it's going the right way. So you're going to keep pulling on it until it is tight. It's not going to be super tight. Like it's not going to, yeah, it's not going to be super tight is what I'm telling you. It's going to be mostly tight, and that's okay because we're going to use that at the end to connect our wreath. Okay, so now what we're going to do is this piece on the right hand side is going to be the next loop. So we're going to do that, and we're just going to feed it through. Again, keep everything flat, right? I like to pull this through until this bottom piece is as tight as it's going to get, right? So I like to pull it all the way up, and then I just transfer and loosely hold this in place and pull on this one and pull on this one until this connects. And actually sometimes I'll pull it a little bit further. You see how it starts to twist, and then I just back off. This we can always adjust the size by just pulling it back a little bit, but I like to have a fairly big loop to make my life easier when I'm threading it through. Okay, so now we're going to switch. We're going to go to this side. We're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to form a loop, keep it flat, pull it through, and again, I want to pull it through so that this bottom piece is fairly tight to what we're doing, okay? And then I like to transfer my hand because that's just the way I roll. I'm loosely holding it. By loosely, I mean it still allows me to pull this one through, and I will pull this tight, starts to curl, and I will ease back on it. Okay, Repeat on the other side. You may think you get confused as to which side to go next. If you try to do it through this side, it's not going to work. And the other one is it's always the bottom string that's you're dealing with. So this is the top and this is the bottom. Okay, so, and that flip-flops back and forth between the two. So let's make this loop a little bigger because again, we don't like tight spaces. Okay, we're gonna make a loop, no crisscrossing, keep it flat, feed it through the other loop, pull it until this bottom is fairly tight, I guess, if you want to call it that. And then just loosely hold it and pull this one until it's tight, starts to curl, and then just back it out. And you just keep going back and forth like this. So again, until it's pretty tight. And then pull this one and go down. So that is the start of our ribbon weaving. I'm going to continue going through and I will reconnect back with you when I have this sufficiently done. Okay, I think I've got it at the length that I would like it to be. You can see I still have a bit of tail left, and I figured this one's about 15 inches too much and this one is about 10. So I guess if you cut about 75 inches instead of 100, you'd be okay. I just would not shortchange it because you'd hate to get to the end and, you know, be out. So this is what the braid looks like. And how did I determine if this was where I wanted to stop? I'm trying to make a circle to form the wreath. And so I just kind of laid it out like that to see if I liked the size, which I do. And so I'm going to show you how I'm going to finish this off. Other people that I have seen do this have stitched it, but I am not going to be stitching it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take what would be the next one to go, which in this case is on the right hand side, and I am going to thread it through the bottom section here. And this is where I said if it was a little bit loose, it's not a big deal because it's actually going to make your life a little bit easier to thread this through. Okay, so we're just going to thread that through and pull this tight. And then we're going to take that same piece and we're going to thread it through the loop. Just like so. And then we're going to take this piece and we're going to tighten it. And I'm not too worried about this how this looks from a connecting perspective because we're going to add a bow and some other embellishments on here, so you probably won't even see it. Now I'm going to opt to tie a knot. You may want to sew it if you think the knot or whatever will be too bulky. I just am too lazy to go and pull out a needle and thread. Okay, so that's where a wreath is like. I'm not sure if I want to keep these on and dangle. I've got the extra bits anyways, so I'm just going to leave it like this until I'm ready to finish the card, and I'll make the determination then if I want to trim this off or not. Now that we've got the basic of our wreath, let's move on to assembling the card. Okay, so I have a standard A2 size card, cut out a couple of panels. This is, it's an old color from Stampin' Up. It's something time. Truly Time or Always Time or something like that. It's probably one of my least favorite greens. It's just kind of blah, which is why it is good that I'm doing this challenge. Smash Your Stash, because it's encouraging me to use some of this stuff that I haven't used in a while. So we just cut a panel just slightly smaller than the regular A2 size. I have a piece of red cardstock, which we're going to do the same. This is also just incrementally smaller than the time and the time color. Now my wreath ended up being just over a 3-inch square. And so I did cut out a white panel of 3.5 inches, and this is just a scrap, so whatever length it was, I left it at that. And we're just going to center it. So it is going to have a bigger border than the other ones, and I'm okay with that because I want the red to kind of brighten this card up. So now, as far as adhering this wreath, there's a couple things that you could do. You could try liquid adhesive, like the Barely Art glue, which probably would work. I tend to go with a silicone-based glue when I am working with fabric. I just find it sticks better. It doesn't like get absorbed into the fabric so much. So something like Fabri-Tac, for instance, will work or should work. So I am just going to quite liberally apply this to the back of my wreath. Now, if you wanted to make or turn the wreath into an ornament that the user could pull off, obviously you would not tack it down this way. You would have to find an alternate way to do so. I would probably opt to use something like just sewing it, stitching it onto the card front or something. Okay, I'm almost out of this bottle, so it's not coming out as nicely as I would like it to. This glue dries pretty quick, so you do have to move somewhat quickly. And I want this to be pretty round. Right now it's oval shape looking, so let's see if we can get this to look a little more round than oval. And I wanted it to be slightly more to the top than the bottom because I would like to add a sentiment. Okay, it's a little off. Not too bad, right? Not too bad. We're going to give that a good push, and that should be down well. Of course, now it's oozing out of the top. Go figure. I have a couple options for sentiments. Again, I'm focusing on using up my stash, so I have some outline stickers. There's not really anything on here. I could do like peace, although it's kind of got that gothic kind of look to it. I'm not so sure about that. It's not really Happy New Year's. I could do blessings. This one just has the plain Merry Christmas. And this one might be kind of fun. It says Merry Christmas or Glad Tidings. These are more like stickers than outline stickers. Let's just center this. Excuse if my head gets in the way. Just like that. I like that. Okay, I also tied a red bow. Obviously, I didn't think about this. You can flip this either up or down. Obviously, at this point, I'm going with it being up. And I'm going to have this going up here, and I'm thinking that I'm going to get rid of these tails. So I am just going to trim those off. Don't get rid of the scraps. You can use them for other cards. We're going to pull back in that fabric glue. And my pre-tied bow. We're just going to fix up the top. Any bits that I don't like that little bit there, we are just going to tuck it behind so we don't even see it. And that would be a case where I might pull out something like this glue and just kind of add it back there just for security so that it doesn't pop out. And I'm going to leave these tails pretty long, I think, because I think that looks cute with the long bows, or the long tails. But we're not finished. We need to add some sort of decor pieces. I have these Tailored Expressions Bits and Pieces Gold Drip drops, and I have some small red sequins. Let me pull a small tray. We'll just dump a few of these out. The gold is to tie in the gold from the sentiment, and of course the red is just because it's Christmas. And I'm thinking we'll put a few of these, not a ton, just a few, See if we can do some sequins. I think for the sequins we're going to just do the regular glue because this is too thick. Too thick. Need a new bottle. Okay. I think that is going to be this card. Okay, I think that is going to be one Christmas card down for December. I hope you guys play along with this if you are someone who gives out handmade Christmas cards. It's always, I don't know if you're like me, but it always seems like I get down to October, November, and it's a mad rush to create a bunch of cards. So by doing a few every month, hopefully I'll have enough by the end of the year. And I really love how this one turned out. The braiding did not take terribly long, and I think it's really quite effective. So if this is something you're interested in following along, be sure to subscribe. And until next time, happy crafting.